Pete Hegseth's nomination will blank in the Senate confirmation process.
I think we're going to sort of be in agreement on this, but ultimately disagree on the end game. So I'm going to say Pete Hegseth's nomination will go through the Senate and, end in a confirmation for a number of reasons. One, Pete Hegseth is dealing with all of these allegations right now, which I don't mean to make light of at all. There was the sexual assault allegation, which has been walked back. There have been concerns about his drinking, which he has addressed. He said he wouldn't drink at all if confirmed to do the job. And there's also concerns about his religious beliefs. But when I'm talking to people in Trump world, one, they're confident that he will be able to pull enough Democratic senators to be confirmed. But two, they're also sort of looking at him as a shield for some of these more controversial nominees, be they RFK, be they Tulsi Gabbard. I think Hegseth will make it through. And again, he's up on the Capitol Hill right now. He's meeting with senators. Joni Ernst could be a serious problem. She, again, is a rape survivor herself, and the sexual assault claims against Hegseth could rear their head in that scenario. But ultimately, I expect him to go through with this, mostly because of how confident the Trump people sound behind the scenes. They don't always sound super confident, but in this scenario, they are solid on their man.
I think it will make it to confirmation in the Senate, but more importantly, it will make it to a vote. And that's why it will make it to confirmation.
Yeah.
Republicans in the Senate and Democrats voted 93-2 for Lloyd Austin. He presided over the most disastrous withdrawal of a waste of trillions of dollars in the form of Afghanistan, was gone for weeks and did not tell the commander-in-chief when he was in surgery for prostate cancer. That alone means that this will go to the vote, and that's why these senators that voted yes for Lloyd Austin, they will and should be named and shamed if they refuse to vote for Pete Hegseth. And here's why. Pete Hegseth, unlike Lloyd Austin, who oversaw the disaster of Afghanistan, he served in Afghanistan, served in Iraq, served in Gitmo, double Bronze Star, went to Harvard, went to Princeton. But beyond that, this is a textbook character assassination. They started off with a truly horrifying claim, right? Like rape in cold blood of a blackout drunk woman. Then they released the police report, which I think, if anything, was exculpatory because the accuser's husband corroborates Pete's story, not his wife's. And she's never come forward and never named herself. And I think that's it's crucial in order to take these allegations seriously in the court of public opinion. Sure, we don't need to use a criminal trial standard, but we should have some compelling evidence. And I think part of that is someone who comes forward with their name so their story can be fact-checked. But the fact that Monterey police alone saw the rape kit, saw no talk screen, none of the witnesses confirming her story. So we move from this pretty horrific rape allegation, I would say it's discredited, then to he harassed his coworkers. Everyone who's worked with him has come out and said this guy is one of the nicest people ever. I've only heard lovely things about Pete Hegseth. Then it moves to he has an alcohol problem, and everyone's pointing to the fact he said that he wouldn't drink, but it's the same thing as when you are in a combat position and when you are basically on call you also don't drink then, because if you are on call and you've had a couple beers in a not problematic way otherwise, but you have to go pick up a machine gun, of course you don't drink during those. I don't think that's a sign of guilt or anything.
If you're in Iraq and Afghanistan in a combat zone, you're not allowed to drink. That's how I view this role as Secretary of Defense, is that I'm not going to have a drink at all. And it's not hard for me because it's not a problem for me. But I need to make sure the senators and the troops and President Trump and everybody else knows when you call me 24/7, you're getting fully dialed in, Pete.
This just feels like the textbook goalpost shifting of a smear. And look, I think there's a lot of reason to find fault with maybe some of Trump's nominees. I could see even from an ideological perspective if the more hawkish senators challenging Tulsi Gabbard. But we can't tank people's lives, let alone their careers, over something that feels pretty flagrantly, duplicitous.
I think the fact that Hegseth's wife is making the rounds with him on Capitol Hill, means a lot. Again, especially when you're confronting that first sexual assault allegation. I think there's another factor here, though. There's going to be a ton of Fox News viewers calling their senators, telling them, hey, we love the Fox and Friends guy. You need to confirm him. I don't think we should, underestimate how much that could have a sway when you've got Trump on the other side when they're, sandwiching these senators who are on the fence.